Here we go. Welcome back to FlowState. How is everybody doing? I hope your week has been fruitful, calm, and at the same time crushing it in every way. Today, we're going up. We're going up into the mountain, up the volcano, into a zone called Agua Garcia, which is absolutely phenomenal, full of dense trees, kind of moody scenery. So I've been thinking a lot about how we can quantify progress, thinking about how we can tie in the concept of manifestation, but at the same time, how that can be really a point to get us distracted from how we can measure things effectively. And in life, we need to be able to measure things. We need to be able to understand that our brains attach meaning to measurable data. So, for example, in the gym, when we train, I always advocate, or forget the gym, but just in general, any sports related activity, I always advocate for tracking progress, because if we're not constantly tracking progress, our brain doesn't actually register that we're making forward momentum, and can then lead into, let's say, the misunderstanding of how things are going, how much progress we've made, and then also allowing ourselves to get easily derailed when our emotions are dominating our sense of purpose. So, for example, when you're in the gym doing strength training, writing down how many sets you've done, what weight, how many reps for each exercise, to know where you're going to be starting from the next time you train that exercise. Same thing for running. You're setting out on a goal. Your goal is to run 10K. You start with 1K, and then the next week is 2 and 5 and so forth. But if you're not actually taking a step forward to track and to quantify your progress, it's very easy for us to lose sight and focus of the progress we're in fact making. This is obviously pretty much next level in this forest here. I love all of these, caves, and we're gonna go up this trail, see how far we get, go on a little mountain climbing adventure. So let's talk about the concept of manifestation and how we can amplify our efforts. So manifestation in general, kind of bullshit, with a caveat. Manifestation done properly is super powerful. And what do I mean by that? I mean, it's one thing to think about the fantasy that is in your mind and then not take action. It's another thing to think about the fantasy in your mind and then to take action on it. So let's say you have aspirations to achieve X. I'll ask this question of you. Do you think just by dreaming it constantly in your mind and not taking any action towards realizing that goal, Will you achieve that goal? If you're asking me, I say no. Maybe you ask someone else and they say yes. That's fine. That's their perspective. My perspective is grounded in reality and not just some fantasy. And with that comes the responsibility of taking action in alignment with achieving whatever goal that your heart desires. So, using tools that we all have at our disposal, like your calendar. Oh man, I just climbed up. Interesting. Let's maybe get back on track to this. Oh shit. Whoa. All right. Okay. Right. Sorry, I just got a little distracted. So, I love leveraging my calendar as an active diary, as something that I use on an ongoing basis, multiple times a day, to be able to be proactive in understanding my previous week, my day, and then leveraging that insight to be able to better plan with clarity moving forward. So some people just use their calendar as a way of planning for the future. I see it as an active living document that is in essence a diary or a journal, using the opportunity to retroactively fill in the spaces and the gaps based on what actually took place. So, in other words, let's say you have your whole week planned, and I really focus on doing this as much as possible because I find that it grounds me and I have a clear vision for the week and for the month and for the next 6 months. Not every day is filled in, and that's intentional, but there are key things that I do fill in every day. Health and wellness, family time, and then other things that I know I want to do throughout the week that are, let's say, ongoing, like maybe every other day or whatever, including when I eat. Now, obviously, you can't be so rigid that things are like so locked in and you're a robot. That's, in my opinion, taking away from the humanity of it all. But being structured in alignment with your core values and your long-term vision of what you want to be doing, not being so rigid that you feel like you can't do anything else or change anything around. So being dynamic is really the mantra of how to leverage your calendar. So, for example, I have my week planned, my day planned, and I'm starting off on my day, everything's lining up, stacking up. I really try to adhere to the amount of time that I've allocated for whatever tasks. I'm a big advocate of time blocking and associating items that are on my to-do list with specific amounts of time. So I block out like 20 minutes for emails, for example. And at the end of that, unless there's a really important task that I'm on relating to emails, I stop. I'm of the mind that there's really no emergencies unless you are creating them for yourself in your mind. And so if I don't respond right away to an email, it's really not the end of the world. If it is top of mind, if it is an urgent matter, then I do that first. So anyways, let's say you have your 20 minutes of email time, and then your next task, your next block of time is approaching, but then something comes up. It's okay to then take proactive measures and reorganize your schedule accordingly. So maybe something takes you away from that moment and you go do something else, and you come back and then it's all out of sync. Your calendar's out of sync, your sequence of tasks and events are out of sync. You go back in and you retroactively fill in the blanks. So instead of doing this, I did this. So then you go back in and you change the order, you change the amount of time that it actually took you, creating a living document of how and where your energy and attention went, right? Where attention goes, energy flows. If you say you want, let's just use this as an example. You say you want to be able to run 10 kilometers by the end of 30 days. And then you look back in your calendar and surprise, surprise, there's no time that you've allocated to going running. So what that tells me is you're full of shit. That's what that tells me. It tells me that it's not actually a priority and you don't actually want it. Because if you did, it would be reflected in your calendar. Same thing with spending time with your family. You say you want to spend more time with your family. Show me your calendar. Where is that on your calendar? If it's not there, you're full of shit. Now, I don't mean to be harsh. I mean a little bit, of course. Because, why not? And I am with myself all the time. And there's nothing quite as powerful and as humbling as looking back and understanding where you're in alignment and where you're out of alignment. And using that as a catalyst to realign yourself so that you know that if you really want this outcome, what is the thing that is required to get you there? It's not just about a fantasy or a dream to say that I want to achieve this. I want to lose 10 pounds of fat, put on 20 pounds of muscle in the next 6 months. All right, show me when you're training. Show me what steps you're taking that you can then quantify that will get you there, that is in alignment with your goal. Because if it's not on your calendar, you're not actually doing the thing. Oh, hello, doggy. Hola, hola. 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 Let me just fix this camera here. Okay. So, this was a real profound revelation for me, because I then understood the power of being able to go back and reflect. And manifestation, coupled with action, is really the output of manifestation. It's not just sitting and dreaming about something. We live in the real world here. We're not living in fantasy, or we'd all like to think so. But the reality is, if you're not acting in accordance with your dreams, you don't actually want to make those happen. Because if you did, you'd be acting in accordance with those dreams. You'd be doing everything within your power to ensure that every step, every choice, every action is in alignment. And this goes back to core values. If you don't know what's grounding you, then how can you set goals? The goals are never going to ultimately be those fulfilling, deeply rooted, like, there's no thinking about it because you've done the work, you've gotten clear on them. You know exactly what grounds you, what your compass is, where you're going. Now, it's one thing to do the work. It's another thing to choose the embodiment of the work, right? I mean, what's the point of doing it if you're not going to live it? Doing the thing is making difficult choices, is doing the thing you may not want to do in that moment. But fuck your feelings, man. This is not about, I don't feel like it. It's about, this is what I want. I'm grounded in my principles and values. I know what's keeping me anchored. So you don't give yourself a choice. You don't say, well, it's a beautiful day. Why don't I go to the beach instead of doing the things that are going to propel me closer to my goal? Now, I bring up a good point because I am going to the beach today. I'm going to spend some time. Ooh, this is a cool fort up here. I'm going to spend some time with my family at the beach. They go to the beach all the time without me. That's fine. It's not even like a thing I have to think about. Yeah, every once in a while, I'm doing that. Oh, this is so cool. I hope I can find my way back. I kind of just like fucking took off here. Wow. Okay, well, I'm gonna put this facing up here for a minute, and I just have to, whoops, here you can look at whatever that is. Excuse me. Yes, I am relieving myself in the woods. I don't know what that fucking saying is. I love it. FlowState. All right. So my point is this. My core values trump everything because it's the thing that I know in long-term strategic thinking is going to allow for freedom, reduced stress, clarity in my actions, and ultimately provide sovereignty for myself and my family, which is the singular thing I'm focused on. Now, part of the structure that I've created for myself is, as well as my family and my wife and my kids, really, is to live a lifestyle that allows us to do things in a super dynamic way. That's a choice that we made. And in order to realize that, all of us needed to give up certain things that were not in alignment with what we really want. It's not a sacrifice, it's a vision and living in alignment with that. So yes, you are giving up something, but it's not something that you actually want to do in the first place. So let's go back to this goal of, like, let's say, wanting to lose 10 pounds of fat, okay? Because it's, I think, a very easy and relatable one. So let's say this is the objective, right? And you give yourself however much time you think is appropriate to do that. And then you make your workout plan and you have all this, you know, you buy some new shoes, you get a fucking gym membership. And then, you know, day 4, fucking feeling good, motivation is high, as it most always is at the beginning of anything before it actually gets hard, where people become weak because they're actually not grounded. And you get an invitation to go out to a club on Saturday night with your friends. It's a cool night, maybe not like a night that's once in a year kind of thing, just a better than average projected evening, let's say. Now, you know that in the past, your behavior when presented with this kind of opportunity, you took it because it's fun, then you end up drinking or doing drugs, whatever, staying up until 10 a.m. the next day, and then guess what happens? Obviously you haven't slept, so you have completely fucked up your next day. Even if you sleep a little bit, you are going to be operating from a deficiency of sleep. Your hormones are going to be all out of whack. The effort that you put in over the past 4 days basically wiped out, because most likely you're going to overeat or be out of sync with your diet. The amount of alcohol that you consume during that period of time is going to wreck your recovery, fuck up your sleep, so you're not even able to catch up effectively. Probably going to take you 5 or 6 days to recover from that shit. Now, is that in alignment with achieving your goal? Fuck no, obviously not. Is it super tempting? Yes. Is it fun in that moment? Yes. Are you going to suffer dearly? Yes. So the answer is no, you don't fucking go out. If you achieve your goal in the amount of time that you said you were going to, and you adhere to your plan because you were grounded in something bigger than you, something stronger and more powerful than temptations in the moment, then yeah, go and enjoy yourself, but understand the consequences of doing that as well. That's something that you need to get clear on. It's not just like, oh, I've done so well over the past 3 months, now I can go get fucked up. And somehow in my mind, I'm thinking, it's no big deal. Okay. I guess I just keep going this way. It's always tricky coming here. Now, I've been in this position many, many times, thinking, you know, it's like that same cycle of behavior where you essentially succumb to instant gratification and a little dopamine hit to be able to alleviate that low vibration depression that's going to be setting in. And those moments, that's what defines you. It's the thing that you do when no one's watching. You know, you might be a little hungry and you might succumb to overeating that derails your progress, or not doing the thing that you said you were going to do that's in alignment with your long-term vision for yourself and your goals. Now, how do we break free of this thinking? It's really easy. Fuck your feelings. Your feelings have nothing to do with the work that you've already done, right? This is assuming you have completed your core values, that you've, oh man, this is pretty steep here. Completed your core values, that you're in alignment with yourself. And if you've done that in an authentic way, if you've done that in a way that's really the catalyst for how you're choosing every action that comes after, then the idea of not doing something because you don't feel like doing it doesn't even come into your mind. It's not even a thing. It's not a question. It's not, there's nothing there. Whew. Sorry, I was just looking at 25 minutes. Man. So, this is something that takes practice and effort and discipline and living into your purpose every day consistently, not deviating. Because if you do deviate prematurely, the derailment and the effort that is required to bring you back to center is so much more challenging. It's like training or whatever, okay? You're doing the thing, you're in flow, and then life happens, you get a little derailed, and or like you go on vacation, but you're not consistent with your training. I guarantee you, when you get back, that first session, man, that's fucking rough. Maybe not the first one, the second one, but it's a slippery fucking slope to not tapping in and sustaining into your power just for a short, momentary, let's say jerk off session that doesn't actually propel you in the direction that you're looking to go, because you've already made those choices. You've done the thing. You've committed to yourself. So why not be consistent about every action on a long-term basis before doing anything else? So in this moment, the reason I don't go to the beach as often as that I would like to enjoy is because I'm focused on hitting certain benchmarks with regards to my guidance and coaching practice, my physical fitness and wellness, which then is coupled to my performance. And it's not like in my situation, my family is separated from me. I'm with them all day. So again, by design, not everybody has that in their life, and that's understandable. So it may mean getting creative with how you choose to spend your time and making sure that you're not wasting it on fucking entertainment. You know? Yes, you have to relax. Yes, you have to recharge. But numbing out watching a movie or binge watching many episodes of some stupid fucking show, is that going to recharge you? Okay? Going for a walk in nature with your family instead of watching a movie will definitely recharge you on many levels. Man, my heart is racing. Okay. Little cardio pump. I like it. Getting activated through vitality and living into what the embodiment of, I just lost my train of thought. Example for your family and the people around you is the cleanest and most effective way to instill and demonstrate good behavior, right? It's not just about like, quote unquote good behavior, right? It's about leading through example, not just leading through your words, which are effectively meaningless unless you can back them up through action, right? You ever hear, I'm sure you do, the old saying of like, you know, do as I say, not as I do? Super fucking low status loser shit, okay? That's for retards. That's not you. And the next time you hear someone say that, don't respond. Internalize that moment. Understand that moment. Watch with your eyes. Listen. Feel the energy in that space. I don't think I have to tell you more about that. I think it should be pretty obvious. Oh, yes. 30 minutes up, 30 minutes down. What is up here? I don't think I've ever been here. Maybe I have. I don't know. Didn't take my phone. Might get lost. And, oh fuck. Okay. Okay. That's a good thing. There's some signs. All right, 1.3 kilometers this way. All right, I'm just gonna go back. Now, let's say you do derail yourself, okay? Totally fucking normal, totally human. I do it, you do it, everybody does it. You have great intentions, you're on your path, life fucking happens. What do? We don't fucking stress. We don't think about it. We course correct as quickly and as powerfully as possible. Perfect example. I was a little hungry last night. A little hungry because I smashed like fucking 30,000 kilos during my training session yesterday. It's fucking a lot of weight. And when I was preparing dinner, the kids wanted pasta. And I love pasta. Who doesn't like pasta, right? I made an amazing nutrient-dense sauce. I took yellow bell pepper, whole head of broccoli, 1 leek, and a little bit of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. And I basically cooked that. Then I took like 20 grams of butter, put that in the blender along with a whole bunch of cilantro, and I threw those peppers and the leeks and the broccoli in there and blended it. It was so good, so good. And then I took some cheese, and once the pasta was cooked, threw the cheese in the pot, put the lid on it. The sauce was ready, poured it over it, let the cheese melt a little bit. Fuck, I'm salivating. And then I served it to them. They lost their shit. It was so good. It came together in like, 13 or let's say 15 minutes max. And on my wife's plate, I put a little harissa, just a little spice, a little make it nice. And then I was like, my stomach was growling. I was hungry. I was sore as a motherfucker. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this. And I knew that when I step on the scale the following day, it's going to be a little bit higher than I would have liked. But you know what? I was like, fuck it. I'm enjoying this. So I did. I didn't think anything about it. And I leaned in. I had 3 plates. Fucking yum. So good. I mean, not massive bowls, but I made them intentionally small so I could eat more plates. I still track the calories, and it actually really wasn't that many, surprisingly enough. But anyways, my point is, don't dwell on it. Don't fucking beat yourself up over it, because that's worse than not doing the thing in the first place. And that works both ways. If you're thinking about, oh, I really shouldn't be eating this and blah, 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 for like an hour, that's actually doing more harm in many ways than just enjoying the food that you've made. And then that's it. You just fucking move on. Don't dwell in the past. Don't allow yourself to get derailed by something that there's no physical way to change. You cannot go back in time. You cannot fucking change that moment. So don't worry about it. Just don't. So obviously, for some, this is a lot easier said than done. And it's about, again, being in alignment, being grounded with a long-term vision about where you're going and what you want. Understanding that these little moments are part of the process. It's not about any one moment. It's not about any one day, whether you've had a profoundly euphoric day or whether it was like everything went wrong, that could have gone wrong. Okay, it's not about any one of those moments. It's about consistently showing up in alignment, really doing your best, not just, saying, I'm doing my best. Show yourself what that means. Show yourself what your best looks like. The output of your clarity in alignment with your core values and then taking action on that motherfucker, that's doing your best. You may struggle, you may get frustrated, you may find that the output of your work isn't up to the standard that you're looking to be at that moment. That's okay. It's part of the process. You don't go into the gym expecting to fucking look like Arnold the first day of your training journey, okay? It's just not gonna happen. Or you wanna run, You're not gonna be sprinting like Usain Bolt. Taking advantage of micro opportunities to leverage, to have spontaneity in your life, to have things that are deeply fulfilling and rewarding and connect you to moments that would otherwise not happen are so important. It's just, you want to be mindful about consecutive days of that, because they may well be in alignment with your long-term vision, but so is doing this other shit. And you have to also equate weight to all of these things. So spending time with my family is very much a part of my long-term vision of how I'm living my life. And so is being here with you and supporting you. And I am spending way more time with my family than I am with you. But that's because we live together and we see each other every day. It's very different than recording a podcast once a week and doing the videos and coaching and guiding people. And so I also know that living in alignment with my core values and my goals and objectives, that I need to make choices that support the long-term vision of where I'm going more consistently than not. It's all about consistency, showing up, compounding actions, micro actions, nano actions. Those little just the little essence of what you're doing and how you're doing it. Because, and I'm going to bring this back full circle to the calendar, is if you are leveraging the power of your calendar to give you a framework for how you're choosing to invest your time, because that's really what it comes down to. And you have your very clear and specific goals, but you're not actually taking action to get you closer to realizing those goals. And again, you know, it's like the process of doing this should be fun. It should be bringing you joy and enrichment in your life. It should be putting a smile on your face. It's not going to be that way every day and every moment, but that's the intention behind everything you do. You may not want to do the dishes, but you know that being in service to your family requires you to do the dishes because it elevates the experience, the energy in the room, and you appreciate that energy, and your family appreciates that energy. And it means that you can think more clearly when your environment is less chaotic. You see how every little detail is intertwined and is compounding on each other? So you don't do the dishes in immediate, like, you don't do the dishes immediately after they get messy, for example, right? And then something else happens. You get distracted, you go down this other path, and then the dishes are there and it's like, oh no, I'll do that later. Or, you know, taking out the trash, and then slowly the trash is over full, and then it becomes messy, and then it's like more problems to fucking deal with. When you could have just taken action in that moment, bam, 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 just do the fucking thing. Just smash all of these little nano tasks to be able to get through the things that you need to do in order to live the life that you want. It's going to take effort. It's going to take a certain amount of commitment every day. It's every fucking day you do this shit. It's not like you just show up at a high standard, because if you don't, it's super corrosive, and then you get lazy. And then it's like if you have this like laziness thing going on, you got to correct that shit immediately. And you do this by being activated through vitality. Now, there are other things that people can say that are lazy, but in reality are actually strategic in terms of how you are allocating your time. And I think you need to schedule in time for deep work. And part of that, I think you need to clear your space and your mind for reflection. And sitting and thinking strategically, to some people may look like you're not doing anything. Well, fuck them, first of all. They're not you. They haven't done the work that you have done. They're not living up to their full potential. And what looks like laziness to some people is actual profound and deep and powerful work that you are currently doing in alignment with where you want to go. Now, this is obviously very different than walking by the fucking sink and seeing a pile of dishes there for your 900th time. That's being lazy. That's being a piece of shit. That's not living in alignment with where you see yourself. Under no circumstances is that okay. Oh, fuck. Which way did I go? I think Centro area, Loma Lahara. Maybe this way. I think so. Oh yeah, there's that fort. Oh, all right. Again, I've been there. I've done all of these things. And for me, the biggest breakthrough in life was simply the act and self-awareness of taking action in the moment. Every single time, take action, 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 action. Now, you want to be strategic in big picture, consistent action that you take, because you can very quickly find yourself in a place you don't want to be a year down the road or 6 months, whatever, because you're not actually in alignment with your core values and you're not living every day grounded by that with very clear focus. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about after you've done the work, after you've taken, excuse me, I'm going to take the picture for my thumbnail. Maybe this is interesting here. Be back with you in a moment. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, you know, sometimes I just totally lose my train of thought, and it's really something I need to improve on. I need to do better, because it kind of breaks my flow. And this is flow state. Ooh, do you guys remember which way I was going? I think down. I think it was this. Fuck. Anyways. So, taking action. Ah, yes. I remember. Taking action, taking action, taking action. The little things are the biggest factors in either moving you forward, propelling you forward with energy and purpose and clarity and focus, or they could be the thing that derails you incrementally over time. It's like erosion, slow, corrosive, negative, and breaking free of that cycle, living into your potential by taking action. So another thing that comes to mind is reducing total chaos in your life. And I think the first place to start is your home, your bedroom, your closet, your bathroom, the drawers in your house. Getting fucking organized and systematizing your environment. This is so important because, for one, you know where everything is. Everything should have a home. And when you're finished doing the task, engaging in whatever, you put the things back where they live. You reduce things that are distractions. You reduce clutter. You get rid of your fucking old ass clothes that you don't wear. If you have a bunch of junk in your garage, take the weekend. Take 5 weekends. All of this may seem like a lot of effort and time in the immediate, but it will serve you for years. It keeps your mind clear. It supports your... Sorry, I'm just... Okay, good. Fuck. Getting lost up here is really not ideal. It supports alleviating pressure in your life that you didn't even know existed until you do it and take action. Or it's like, I've been meaning to clean the garage for 6 months. No, you haven't. You've been dreaming about cleaning the garage for 6 months. You haven't actually been meaning to clean the garage, because if you did set out to clean the garage, it would have been done. It would have been a thing. Fuck. Man, I don't remember this part. All right. Sorry. So it's kind of, it's like a lot of people can relate to this. And if you're scratching your head and be like, oh yeah, that's me, it's fine, okay? This is bringing awareness to something that you know you need to do and should do, not for anybody else, but you. Think of it that way. It'll impact the lives of everyone you live with, obviously. But most importantly, it frees up mental space in your brain so that you can use that energy to focus on the things that are really important to you. Procrastination is it's like the worst kind of evil, okay? It's the thing that, oh fuck. Now I really feel like I went, okay. Procrastination is the worst kind of evil, okay? It is the thing that's in all of us. All humans procrastinate. And in fact, I argue that the smarter you are, the worse you are at procrastination, meaning, or I should say, the better you are at procrastination, because you overthink things. And so what happens when you overthink things? You're like analyzing, you're doing a whole cost benefit of doing the thing, and by the time you're done doing this whole analysis, you probably could have actually done the thing in the first place. Whereas someone with maybe a little bit less traditional intellect just does the fucking thing. They're like, yeah, I go, it's like, or I'll use the gym as an example. I just go to the fucking gym. Fuck my feelings. Fuck overthinking it. I just go to the gym. Because this, and this, I don't have to explain. Whereas someone who's smarter, will use this term, whatever, will make up all kinds of excuses and rationalize why they're not going to go to the gym because of this, and they'll write like a 7-page thesis in their mind about not going to the gym. And meanwhile, they've lost all that time. Sorry, I really do not remember any of this. I don't think we did this. And meanwhile, the person who didn't think about any of this just went to the gym, crushed their workout, and is already back home, showered, ate. Meanwhile, the quote unquote smart person is still, editing their thesis. So you tell me who's winning at life in that moment. The person who's actually making gains and progress, or the person who's overthinking and not really making any meaningful progress? The answer is obvious, right? It's like in business, someone with a mediocre idea who takes action and shows up consistently will always beat someone with a great idea who never takes action. Just, it's math. It's not a matter of opinion. It's not a matter of anything. It's just, man, maybe I did this. Maybe I went up there. All right, well, if this episode gets published, you know I made it. If it doesn't, well then, if you're watching this, it might be too late. So, what is the purpose, the end result of all of this is to focus on the micro actions you can take every moment of every day to get you one step closer in closing the gap from where you are now to where you see yourself. That's it. That is the thing. This looks familiar, but not really. All right, anyways. Closing the gap, right? That's the whole point of coaching in general. Guidance is a little different. You are looking to close the gap, but without necessarily leveraging systems. Whereas a coach is leveraging systems and every tool available to them and all resources to be able to support their clients. And no matter, regardless of what specialty they're focusing on. So how can you become your own coach with regards to not delaying action, not being lazy, focusing on closing the gap from where you are now to where you want to be? It's simply by taking action, aligned, grounded action. The first step to doing this, vitality. You need to have the energy in order to do all of the things that are required to do this. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, just like life. Waking up, grinding, doing the thing, it takes effort, it takes this is okay, but I know where I am now. Whew, good. This is not the path we took, but I know where I am. Okay, been here before. That's good. Hola. So, taking action, closing the gap. You need the energy to do this. You need vitality. You need to focus on exercise, nutrition, and recovery. To oversimplify what is a vast landscape of system and information overload in our modern era, you need to do the research in order to get clear on what necessary steps you should be taking to support your body. If you're unclear about where to start, I recommend following the links in the video description and joining the Growth Blueprint community. The foundational pillar to the Growth Blueprint is vitality. After that, core values. Core values are the most important personal development tool to get right. This is it. This is the foundation for everything that comes next. First and foremost, energy. You need the mental bandwidth to be able to actually do the work, right? You need the energy to do anything you want in life. You don't want to be depleted. You don't want to feel sluggish. You want to feel like you're in your power. You're in your element. From the moment you wake up until you go to sleep. Think of it like a battery. When you wake up, you should be fully charged, overflowing with energy. And by the time you close your eyes, you should be fucking depleted. You should be empty. You should leave nothing on the table every single day. Now, having said that, mindful rest and recovery is vital to being able to sustain this output. And you will feel depleted some days more than others. But that is also an indication that you're not living in alignment with what truly nourishes you and fulfills you. Or you're not actually allocating enough time to doing those things because you have, your 9-to-5 job, you have your kids and so forth. But if you paid attention to what I just said, your kids shouldn't be an afterthought to doing the things that recharge you, okay? Bring your children into your life and do fucking awesome shit with them. I mean, what is the point of having kids if they're not actively engaged in your life? You're their teacher, you're their greatest inspiration, you're the reason for their entire world, or at least until they, grow up a little bit. But there's no reason that ever has to change, provided that you start from day one. And if you haven't, and this is your wake-up call, good. Lean into that feeling. But don't give too much thought to something that happened 3 weeks ago. Don't give too much thought to what happened 2 seconds ago. What are you going to do in this moment right now that is propelling you forward and closing the gap? Vitality, core values. Without these two compounding on each other, you have nothing to build on top of. I made it. Wow. I really did think I was lost for a moment. Feels good. A little sigh of relief. I mean, I did know where I was just like a couple of minutes ago, but still, it's nice to see this big building here. All right, that's it for this week. Take everything I said to heart, digest it, process it, and then most importantly, take action on it. Do the thing right now. As soon as this podcast is over, do the next required thing to live in alignment. Check out the growth blueprint. Check out the other videos, the little nuggets of information that will propel you. See you next time. Have a killer week, everybody.